to With Him podcast. I am Raz. This is Dr. J over here.
Hey.
Mike B. Making us look good. Got the filters on again today. We're looking really grand, I think, out there. Like anybody's watching us. I don't know. Maybe somebody is. But anyway, well, hey.
Dude, y'all should comment on these episodes.
Yes.
If you're watching on YouTube, comment down there. Say, yes, Raz looks amazing in that filter. Look at that hair. Look at that hair, the moisturized hair.
It's put it in a poopy tail.
Oh,
pretty excited about it, you know.
Oh, my gosh.
I say that.
Hashtag no poopy tail. That's what I need to see on the comments. Hashtag no poopy tail.
I go with my musician soul patch.
Oh, my gosh. Sheesh.
Oh, my goodness. Well, that's the thing. How many times do you having people come up to you like, I love you guys' podcast. This is great. I'm here. I'm like,
yeah.
Why are you getting on there talking to us about it? Because we love to discuss things. And I mean, hopefully we're talking about things that are like, wow, all right. I didn't think of God that way. And, then we can kind of all benefit as people.
Yeah, we've got contact information in the notes. So if you've got a topic, you're like, man, it'd be interesting to hear.
Oh, that'd be fun.
A topic of ABC, whatever it is. We'd love for you guys to reach out. So we're just having fun.
Yeah.
It sounds like we do hear from people. They're saying, oh, I love hearing the podcast. It was so great. We're enjoying this.
But it's usually face to face. Like you see somebody and they go, hey, I listened to your podcast on blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, have you subscribed? No. I didn't like it. No.
Right.
Well, actually, you know what? What's this podcast about?
The With Him podcast.
What's the With Him? I mean, what's this?
Again, this is us having conversations about something that we've discovered. It's not anything new. This has been God's plan from the beginning.
All right.
God, the Creator, has wanted to be with His kids. And so much so that the second member of the Trinity, came in human form. His name is Emmanuel, God with us. As we're recording this, we're moving into sort of holiday season, certainly Advent and Christmas season. Mm-hmm. But just be reminded again, God is not an abstract force that's just up in the sky somewhere, and he's wound up the universe and just letting it go like a clock. No. He is intimately engaged. He wants to be engaged with us. And so from the words of Jesus, he says, are you tired? Are you worn out? Are you burned out on religion? Come to me. Come and discover rest. My yoke is easy, my burden is light. Come learn from me, and you'll learn to live freely and lightly. And so this podcast is about us processing together with guests, with the Lord himself, with the scriptures. Right. What does it look like to live your life with him, not living your life for him, not trying to prove yourself to him, not trying to have a merit-based obedience and law-keeping, but actually just to experience grace.
Right.
And to live your life with Jesus.
Right. So if I want to be a good dad or a good grandpa, I can do that with him.
Absolutely.
Stay-at-home mom.
Absolutely.
All right. I own a business.
Yes.
God would want to do that with me.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I mean, God uses the metaphor of father. He says, Israel is my son. He uses this metaphor of father. He's always existed as a father. So if you want to be the best father, and the father says, I want to do this with you, what else do we need?
Right.
It's fantastic.
Right.
Business owner, shoot. Jesus' dad, Joseph, Jesus was a carpenter.
That's true.
He knew how to run a business.
Yeah.
He knew how to get invoices. He knew how to get clients. He knew how to actually do the work and sell it.
Right.
And sometimes we don't think about this. Jesus actually worked and made money.
Right.
He had a small business in his home, probably.
Yeah.
So I'm just, if you're an entrepreneur, you're running a business and you have questions about sales and invoices. And doing really, really excellent work, or creativity to create a new kind of bench, as it were, as Jesus was making. Actually, they didn't do benches because they were laying on their side. But anyway, whatever. They weren't chairs at the time. Anyway, but the concept is there.
What was one of the funniest ones of the early shows in that first year? And Jesus is making a table. Remember that?
Yeah.
His mom comes out and was like, "What's that?" Well, it's a table this rich guy wanted to make so he could sit up and eat.
Yeah. Like,
sit up there and eat.
Right.
And then she goes, rich people.
And I love it in The Chosen where he's whittling some things and some kids are watching him. And they're wanting to see what he's doing. And he's kind of, playing with them. And it's just, the very realness. Sometimes we think of Jesus and we think of the sort of Renaissance paintings of Jesus. Speaking of flowy hair, with the long, flowy blonde hair.
He looks like he's from Sweden, in half of these.
Blue eyes, and he's slightly effeminate looking.
Yeah,
and it's and this doesn't look like a carpenter whose hands have been splintered and whose hands have really worked.
I have never met a weak carpenter.
Right.
Bro, I helped, I don't know, I was in college or something, and I think I was on a carpentry crew for like 2 days. I mean, I was like,
you couldn't make it.
I can't do this. This is ridiculous. I'm going to hurt my musician.
The piano hands and the guitar hands.
I'm going to hurt my musician hands. My shoulders are going to hurt to play.
Well, I have theologian hands. Jess makes fun of it all the time. It's like, these are pastor hands.
I'm telling you, man, you meet a guy who's like skinny, who's a carpenter. My best friend and sports friend in high school, a guy named Tom Clays, his brothers were like that. And they were, skinny.
Yep.
And dudes are so strong, man. They're so strong. But that is true. I know I always thought it was weird to get I always kind of saw Jesus, when you see depictions of kind of like I always used to say like he's on some kind of drugs or something. Like he's just walking around like he doesn't know what he's doing in the wilderness or something.
He's a small business owner.
It's weird. I know, right? Now, one thing you said in there in that verse, which is a little bit of a weird word for us, the yoke. What does he mean? A yoke?
Yeah.
What's the yoke? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. Speaking of carpentry, so this is a wooden beam that would rest on the shoulders of whatever sort of animal was being used for farming, for agriculture. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you'd have a yoke that would just be over one ox or some other animal. And many times this yoke would cover 2 ox.
Okay. And
so you'd have 2 animals yoked together. They're sort of got this wooden beam across their necks, and they're working together to till the soil. And so that imagery, when Jesus says, "My yoke is easy, my burden is light," this is a working metaphor, but very strangely, he's like, I want you to work with me. I want you to come and do toil with me. I want you to work hard with me.
Right.
He said, but my yoke is easy and light. So it's this paradox of like, what does it look like to do your work? Right. And it's hard work.
Yeah, it's still work.
Running a business is hard work. Pastoring a church is hard work. Yeah. Discipling people is hard work. Being a stay-at-home mom is hard work. And Jesus is saying, why don't you come do your work with me? Right. Because when you work with me, you experience hard work that's easy and light. This very strange paradox. Mm-hmm. And we experience that from time to time where you're just like exhausted but feel great at the same time. Yeah. There's that sense of like I feel rested but also tired. There's something strange there. Right. But I don't want to push that metaphor maybe too much, but it is something too. Jesus saying, I want you to come to me, learn from me, discover how to do this. I think that even
hits somewhat into the identity thing where if a person is doing what God has designed them to do and designed them to be, that's where that a lot of times that work, it's not work because I'm just like I love being a worship leader. Yeah. I get to go to the throne of God and then bring other people with me, and then watch what He does with them. How awesome is that? Yeah, how awesome is that? I love it. Yeah. But from the beginning, I started playing piano at 5, picked up trumpet at 9, picked up guitar at 13, 14. It's just, I think there's something of that too. It's like, if you come to me, I'm going to begin to show you what I've designed you for, and then not that my identity is not as a worship leader. My identity is not as a musician. Yep. I'm just saying that like with all of us, that when we can go groove into whatever it is that God's got for us, now he'll do all kinds of things to mature us in that. But I think there's something to that. So we find our identity in Him. He's the one who made us. He knows what He made us for. Right. So. And
this leads to something we were wanting to talk about today.
All right.
We've been walking through the Bible. Yep. This past Sunday, we were looking at Moses. Yep. Looking at the Exodus from Egypt. And speaking of the God who has made us, who has created us, He knows our skill set and our abilities. He also knows our lack of ability.
Absolutely.
And we were just reflecting on Moses and the burning bush. Mm-hmm. And he sees this bush. He's out working his father-in-law's sheep. He's out tending the sheep. He sees a bush that's burning. He turns aside. He's like, what is this? And interestingly, the Bible says that when God saw that Moses turned to look, then God spoke out to him, which is, fascinating. We can talk about that too. Yeah. But there's an entire discussion between Moses and the angel of the Lord, who is Yahweh himself speaking from the bush. And Yahweh says to Moses, I want you to go to the main world power of your local part of the world, the president of presidents, the greatest leader there is, and I want you to tell him, let my people go.
Right.
And interestingly, Moses says, I'm not eloquent. I can't speak. This is Exodus chapter 4, by the way. Oh, my Lord, I'm not eloquent, either in the past or since you've spoken to your servant. I'm slow of speech and of tongue. Who am I to talk to Pharaoh?
Right.
And Yahweh says, oh, well, let's get you more training. No, he doesn't say that. Right. What he says is, oh, I'll be with you.
Yeah.
I'll be with you. Yeah. And it's interesting, this idea of partnering with the Lord, it's almost like God the Father intentionally asks us to do things that we can't pull off in our own strength, so that we have to yoke to Jesus and pull with him.
Right. Right.
Because when we just do the things that we actually physically can pull off, we don't actually need to partner with him. Right. So I think there's some sort of strategy here on the part of the Lord, and you see this with other biblical characters. The Lord comes and he says to them, he asks Gideon, like, I want you to set my people free. And he's like, I'm the smallest clan. I'm the weak. Yeah. And it's like he intentionally, and the New Testament authors, he takes the weak things of this world to shame the strong and the proud. So this idea, we're talking about with him. Yeah. What if God is calling us to do things that we can't pull off in our own strength, precisely because it forces us to do that thing with him? Yep. Yeah. And this idea it's captured my mind. Well, I was preaching on it, just been thinking about it, and I think there's something here for us about what am I stepping into in my life that actually needs the supernatural power of God, or is everything that I'm putting my hand to completely accomplishable in my own strength and on my own skill set?
Right. Yeah. And I think, I don't know if you use the word, but that's the adventure part of it. I mean, it really is that, because if I can just do it on my own, it's kind of boring, actually, if I'm being honest. I mean, if I'm good at something, you know what? I mean, honestly, that's probably part of, even within the skill set. I mean, I take my own skill set of what I've been able to do. Is I always liked when I had something that was like, ooh, I don't know if I could quite pull that off. I remember the first time I went in to play in a studio, like, guys, like, I've heard some of your stuff. You're a good player. Why don't you come in? I've got it was crazy. It ended up turning out being some tracks and stuff for Stephen Curtis Chapman.
Nice.
Really, I didn't see him. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I came in and it was some acoustic work. But I tell you, I was nervous, man, coming into it. And guess what? I'm praying. like, Lord, help me with this, But the thing is that I think he loves to do that because of that relational aspect. He loves to do that because it just draws us. It pushes us in towards him. And honestly, I even think sometimes, I'm not shitting on anybody out there. I honestly think sometimes if I don't have places where I'm scared, where I'm thinking, oh, if this fails, this is going to be awful or whatever, I'm not sure I'm actually even in God's will.
Right.
I mean, because there's something where everything that we read, there's this. Now, I know he's, in the Old Testament, I mean, he's developing out this people. I mean, these are all big stories. That's why they're still the big stories, right? But every single one of us have opportunity, whether it's, we always want to look at a Mother Teresa. We want to look at, I mean, yes, Mother Teresa can't do this on her own. We look at, Tim Tebow and the Tim Tebow Foundation. And I mean, he works with trafficked, kind of things, but he also works with, disenfranchised, people of all kinds, I mean, and we're talking about thousands. Like we have somebody here in Cincinnati who they work with orphanages in Mexico, and that person would tell you, this is crazy. Yeah. Like I would never want to, they'll go into a place even where it's like, we don't even have any land here to get. I remember the story of Jackie Pullinger-Toe, the missionary, single female missionary going to Hong Kong into some of the worst, most horrible place to go bring the gospel there. You're not doing that on your own. No. In fact, they weren't going to let her off the boat. This is back in the 50s as a single, 60s, I think, single woman. Mm-hmm. Like you can't even get off that. She had to, I forget how that worked. Well, it was the Lord. It was a supernatural thing that happened because I think she was a piano player, I think, or something like that. Yeah, and they like needed a teacher at an international school there or something. Like it was like if I remember, I was like, I mean, they let her off, but it was like they like basically kind of jailed her for a bit. Like, okay, well, you need to go back, or your husband's not here with you. You're not. I'm like, I'm not married, But she knew from the Lord. You're from the Lord. You're going to go minister to these people in this place, and that's awesome. But see, what's funny is we look at all of these people. Your Jim Elliott's, Billy Graham, John Wimber, whatever. I mean, we look at all these people like these great heroes and all this stuff, and almost every one of them would come to you and go, man, no, I was scared to go do this. Julie and I were really scared to do our last church plant. We're like, we'd already been through 3 other church plants. We're like, I don't think I want to lead this. I'm doing Moses. I'm like, Lord, I don't think I want to lead this.
Right.
Are you sure that this is what we're supposed to be doing? And then we just kept getting confirmation. We're like, all right, well, we're going to go do this.
And it's funny because I don't know what it is. I don't know if like sort of the North American sort of like culture has seeped into our understanding of faith and walking with Jesus. But literally the word faith, it involves an element of risk.
Right.
You don't know if it's going to work out. You don't know.
Right.
So when Yahweh comes to Abraham and says, go to the land that I will show you, he doesn't tell him where that land is. He's like, come on, let's get going. And when he says to Moses, I want you to go tell Pharaoh, there's a sense in which Moses doesn't really know. And the only encouragement he has, the only promise he receives is, I'll be with you.
Right.
And apparently the I will be with you makes up the gap between Moses' skill set and what the Father is calling him to do. And this gap, and you said it, this gap between what we can pull off and what God calls us to do, that gap is where the kingdom adventure happens.
Absolutely.
That's where it happens.
Absolutely.
Because if we always just do what we can physically pull off in our own skill set, deep down, you know it. You know it when you execute on something, you're like, I can pull this off. And eventually it gets boring.
It does.
Eventually, you're just like, I know I can do this. It's kind of like I used to do this. I loved playing video games, and you could have a video game, and you could actually put in a code.
Oh yeah.
Or you're like invincible, or you have 1,000 lives, or whatever. And literally, or for some of you who are like, that's cheating. Okay, there's other games
where you cheat codes,
where you level up so much. That you get experience points and all this stuff, and so your character becomes so strong that you could just walk into a tribe and destroy everything or whatever you're going to do, and it's boring, because you're going to win, and it gets boring, and so I want to encourage you. Some of you, your life is boring. Your life is boring because, frankly, you're just doing what you know you can pull off. And I'm talking about kingdom stuff. I realize, sometimes you're like, well, yeah, I've got a meeting I'm going to go to. Yeah, I'm not talking about like you have to have high adrenaline life your entire time. But what I'm saying is, what are the things that God has put in your heart? Because here's the deal. The scriptures tell us that the Father has created us with good works for us to do. And he put it in us from before we were born. Yes. So there's something in us. And if you have ears to hear, you're going to hear what I'm saying. There's something inside of you that says, I was created to do something awesome. And here's that awesome. It's not just you doing stuff or getting experience or getting degrees or making a lot of money. In the end, that's boring. What the adventure is, here's my skill set. And I'm learning to be trained by the Lord, and he's asking me to do something that's beyond my skill set. And then he trains with me. I yoke up with him, and we work this thing out together. And the gap there is where kingdom adventure is found. So, when you hear me say something like that, Raz, what's going through your mind? Because we want to be helpful to the people that are listening here. What's going through your mind as you hear this and think about this idea? Right.
I think, I'll tell you what's funny. The word I'm going to say is need. It's like, I need the Lord.
Yeah.
When I need the Lord, that's when the adventure
that's
happens.
Good. Yeah.
Like, I need you, Lord, on this one. I remember one time, I'm a story guy. You guys know that. I'm a storyteller. The 3 people who subscribe. You guys know I'm a storyteller.
Y'all being blessed. Y'all 3 are being blessed.
That's right. So, and I'm thinking of this because we were talking about missions work last night in our elder meeting. But anyway.
Yeah.
So, So Julie and I are we're doing it again. Like I walk away from a really steady job at an E-Free church down in Texas. We've decided we're going to do parachurch ministry and there's no like Young Life down there. So we basically started Young Life. We called it Youth Net, and same idea, that type of thing. But anyway, so we're not making ends meet really, really well. We're coming into summer, and I don't even know how I found out about these guys, but there's this group. They're still out of Georgia, Gainesville, Georgia, called Adventures in Missions. So somehow I found out about them that they need worship leaders for all their, what they do is they do short-term mission projects, mainly for youth, to just, fire them up, for them to experience the kingdom and so on. So they have different levels of them. Like some are pretty intense, and I remember back in the day, maybe they called them level 1, 2, and 3. So like maybe level 1 was easier, and that might be junior high kids, and you're going down to Kentucky, and doing something. And maybe by the time you're level 3, maybe you're taking some kids deep into Mexico where it's kind of dangerous, or, whatever, Cuba somewhere or whatever. Mm-hmm. So anyway, I find out they do worship leaders. So I contact whoever. I have no idea how I find this out. Anyway, I contact, I do know how it happened. I actually took my youth on a named trip. Okay. I forgot about that. And then I met some of the people that were real involved there, and they said, and there was a worship guy there, and I asked them about it, and they said, "Oh yeah, we need worship people all the time." So I somehow I had the contact of whoever was their booking. They did booking, and so I said, "Yeah, I'm a worship leader. I could do some trips or whatever." And it was funny. And then they go, "Well, we've sort of changed our policy on that. Like, we don't pay as much to the worship leader anymore, but we also have speakers that we pay," which I'd seen too. We have speakers that we pay. Do you? Are you a good speaker? It's like our first trip's like 500 and blah blah blah. And do you do speaking for a week? I'm like, sure.
How much speaking had you done?
Well, I speak to youth every week.
Right, like, there it is.
All 15 of my kids there every single week. I'm like, I'm speaking to youth every week. I'm hanging out with youth every day. So I'm like, sure, yeah, let's go for it. And so what was really funny was that same summer, and it was I realized it was that same summer. It was kind of toward the end of the summer, and I'm realizing now it was our last year actually at this E-Free church. I just realized that. So I just remembered that. So it was actually their last 2 weeks of their last trips of the summer. And I went and spoke, and I was like, and all I was doing was I probably about like I do right now, which you catch me on Sunday morning. I'm just telling stories. I'm just trying to bring the word in such a way as like just challenge of how we're going to walk in it, whatever. I'm doing how I do. And anyway, so then the head of it, a guy named Seth Barnes, contacts me. He started the whole thing. He contacts me. He said, "Hey, I saw you a couple of the days. You're a really, really good speaker."
Yes.
Yeah, do it all the time. All 12 of my kids at Wendy's, I'm talking to 2 of the kids all the time. And so anyway, so they go, I'm not joking, Jamie, this is what he says to me. Next summer, he said, however many weeks you want, I'll give you.
Whoa.
So for the next like 3 years, I'm gone all summer. And Julie and the kids are with me sometimes, sometimes not. But I'm basically gone for pretty much that 3 months. In fact, we didn't have an anniversary together for a number of years. We were married in July. But anyway, but the funny thing is, I'm getting all to that. And what was funny too is I would actually go. Now this is what you got 20-year-old energy, right? Mm-hmm. I would actually go lead worship and then speak every night, like Monday through Friday. And I think I got like Saturday off, or Sunday through Sunday through Thursday or something. And I couldn't do that. But I'd do that then. And it was funny because then I made a lot more money. They paid me both the speaker fee and that. And Julie's looking at me, my wife. She's looking at me like she's hearing the conversation. I remember I was laying on our bed talking to him originally, and I get off the phone and she goes, "What'd they ask you?" And I said, "Well, they said, could I speak to youth?" And and I said, "Sure." She said, "What'd you say?" I said, "Sure." "Why'd you tell him that?" I was just like, but there was something there was like I just knew. I did. I really know. I'm like, well, this is what I do speak to youth, and God's going to be with me in this, And it turned out to be one of the funnest things, funnest relationships. I ended up making an album out of it. I found favor with those people, made some fantastic friends. They would actually like hook me up on the best trips that I wanted to go on, and it was one of those things. But the truth is though, I was scared doing it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I was scared talking about it. I was scared to say yes, but I did say yes.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, we'll see how this goes. And I remember being really kind of worried about it when I was coming up on that trip in a couple of weeks that I ended up, going on doing a couple of weeks. But anyway, I could go, I mean, whether it's even something that you and I love to do, and we did this recently, something that you and I, when I'm thinking of this is what I'm thinking of. We regularly will do prophetic prayer, or what we call prophetic prayer. And what we're going to do is wait on the Lord. For me, I can't speak for you, but for me, I always think to myself, what if I don't hear from the Lord? And I think, I'm probably not going to. I'm like Moses. Yeah. I got to be honest. I'm sometimes like, I probably won't even hear anything for this person. And it's just awesome how heaven meets earth right there. Yep. And that's not, introduce me to a person that's got a skill set of being prophetic. That's not a skill set.
Right.
You get that from the Lord. And when you're put on the spot, which even just recently you and I were, which was really, really cool.
So awesome.
There's a businessman who's been on this podcast.
Yeah.
We went into his.
Shout out Dave Rankin and CertaPro.
No doubt, man. I mean, I love that. All business people listening to me, this is what we did. It was awesome. Yeah. Is he had us come in with a prayer team to come in and bring prophetic prayer. Mm-hmm. What's the Lord's heart for these people? For
his entire
staff, of which many of them aren't necessarily followers of Jesus. Some are, some aren't maybe, or some are just learning.
And he gave them an out. He was like, hey, you don't have to receive prayer.
Absolutely.
So it wasn't like a forced thing, but everybody received. Everyone's like, okay, well, I'm game.
They did. And you and I both experienced the same thing. It's like we're telling people stuff that was the Lord's heart. They began weeping. They say, how would you know that? How did David tell you about that?
Email you.
Exactly. But how fun is that? Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. I mean, that's where this is where Jamie's a good speaker.
Right.
Jamie's a good prayer because he's a professional pastor.
Right.
Stops.
Right.
And then we're going to have the kingdom come and meet.
Yes.
How do you know? You don't know what the Father's heart is for Bill until you ask.
It's like a force multiplier on our natural skills. Like we have natural skills of pastoral care and sharing and being an encourager. Yeah. But it's like when you begin to partner with him, there's a force multiplier so that his skill is added to your skill.
That's good.
And so now you start to function in ways that are impossible. And this is why it's supernatural.
Right.
And you said something before you started your story that I think is huge. It's the issue of I need him.
Yeah.
This issue, as soon as you said that, I was reminded of the phrase, God opposes the proud, but he gives grace to the humble.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think there's something to, this is counterintuitive. The people who are playing it safe, I say this with all love, and I say it about me. When I'm playing it safe, it's because I'm proud.
Yeah. I don't want to look foolish.
Because I don't want to look dumb. I don't want to fail. I don't want to fall on my face. Yeah. I don't want to do something and people go, is this guy a professional pastor? Who is this guy? But see, when you are proud, you will stick in the shallows of the water because you know that you can walk around in the shallows. But we're not called to the shallows.
Right.
None of it. You are not called to the shallows. Right. And you know it deep down inside. You know it. You've been something has been put inside of you by God the Father, and it's not found in the shallows. Right. You can be in the shallows for a little while, but the Father is wooing you. He's saying, come on out here to me. Right. I'll be with you. Come on. Right. Come on. And it's this sense of like, oh, if I'm proud, I will only do what I can pull off. If I'm humble, I look at the Father and go, I really need you.
Right.
And I think you're asking me to share a prophetic word with this person right here. I have zero clue.
Right.
I need you.
Right.
I need you. And I'm about to say something, and if you don't show up, I'm going to look foolish.
Right.
Now, you're putting yourself in that spot.
Now, don't you think, that's funny, because don't you think then that puts a spotlight onto what Jesus says when he says, if you want to hold on to your life, you actually lose your life. But if you want to just give up your life, you'll find it.
Yeah.
See, you'll have life. And that's I think that scripture is what goes along with what you're talking about right there. Because if I'm being honest, I'm holding on to my life.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want to be embarrassed. I don't want people. That was the lesson I did. I really feel privileged. I really got to learn from John Wimber by really watching him. He was really good at that because he'd already died.
Yeah.
He'd already made the decision that it was like, I'm a bozo without God. And and so again, coming back to a Dallas Willard theme is Jesus isn't mad at you. He's just saying, this is how it works.
Right. Right.
This is how it works. If you want to experience the kingdom of God, you got to die.
Yeah.
Got to go into the ground and die. See, everybody always wants to make that a martyry thing, or even carrying the cross. Or we don't have to go that far. I mean, that's great. Hey, man, more power to my brothers in other Muslim countries and all that kind of stuff. I'm just saying, but that even comes down to how much are we, the church, me, you, missing out on by holding on to? I need to look good in people's eyes. What if this doesn't work? We all do that. I mean, everybody thinks. I think they think. Sometimes people around us a lot that like, it's easy for you guys,
right.
No, we're driving over to Serpro. Me and Julie are in the car. If you'd have been with us, we'd be doing the same thing. So Julie and I are driving over there, and we're praying, man. And we're like, okay, Lord, you got to show up. I don't know. I don't have anything for these people. Right. I'm literally saying this. I'm like, every time I get a little pit in my stomach, it feels a little bit like, I'm playing baseball in high school again or college or something, like going up to the plate. I'm like, oh, I'm stepping up to the kingdom plate right here, The cool part is it's like I got Babe Ruth like with me, or Aaron Judd for you. Right? I mean, it's like all of a sudden my arms get beefy and I'm going to go get it.
Yeah.
Because my big brother's like, I'll tell you what to say to these people. He said, oh, I love them so much. Man, there was this one. This was so cool. I don't know her name, so I guess I can't really be. I don't know. Anyway, we're eating lunch, and the Lord's already speaking to me about this one girl. I see her across, and you know what he says? Tell her when you talk to her, tell her, she is a beautiful daughter of mine. Yeah. I love her so much. She's a beautiful daughter of mine. I love her so much. That's what he says. It was funny because the way I love this kind of stuff because I get that word. I mean, right away I get that. I'm just kind of looking around, and the way this was designed, David, the owner of the company, was kind of putting us in different offices, and each of us, we hit about 6 people or so, whatever. And I thought to myself, well, if I don't get her, I'll come, and then I'll come talk to her after maybe and just say, hey, I kind of got a word for you if it's okay. Can I share it or something like that? Because I knew it was so clear from the Lord, and it was just so simple. That's not anything huge. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Those simple, like, you're a beautiful daughter. Yeah. Of mine, and I love you. I love you. You're beautiful. And he just was reiterating that you're just so beautiful to me. And so sure enough, we were trying to find where we're going to go. Guess what? Second to the last room. Dave was like, "Hey, you haven't had 2 people yet." I mean, no. There she is. And I'm like, okay. I knew. Yep. Deep down, I knew. And there was 20 people maybe that we were doing, maybe more. But deep down, I knew I'll end up in there with her. And what's funny was the guy that I was with. That I just shared with her. I said, right away, I got something for you. Just let me share this with you. And you could tell she was trying to be cool, but was starting a little bit emotional. Then the guy that was with me started getting a couple words for her, and that kind of did it. So anyway, it's I don't know.
Raz, I love that you're sharing this, and I agree 1,000%. There is a sense in which because there's a gap between what you can do and what the Father is wanting to do. Right. That gap creates a level of nervousness.
Yes.
Because you're about to step and say something or do something, and you're like, I don't know how this is going to go.
Faith.
It's called faith. This is called faith.
Right.
And again, Abraham is called the father of faith.
Right.
And literally, go. Just leave.
Yeah, you got to give him kudos on that, man. I mean, you do. For dumb things he did. Yeah. Which we all do. Yep. You got to give him kudos on that.
He just believed the Lord. Right. The Lord said it, and he believed it.
Yeah.
And so I just want to encourage you, listener. Yes, the reason we don't do this is because we get scared.
Right.
And that's the exact thing. If you don't want to be a little bit nervous and step out in faith, are you following Jesus?
Right.
Because following Jesus, this is a part of it. And I think the enemy. I'm not saying you're not saved. I think the enemy, he hamstrings believers by whispering in our ear, you need to look acceptable. You need to look successful.
Right.
You need to be perfect. You need to not fail. And he whispers in our ears, and counterintuitively, if we listen to him, we don't get the kingdom adventure.
Right.
So I just want to encourage you. I experienced this. Raz experienced this. Right. You are going to experience this.
Right.
And you might as well step into it.
Right. Well, now you may even come up with a theology so that I don't have to ever experience this. And I can be super safe.
Yep.
I mean, that's the truth. God doesn't speak to us. Or he doesn't have any words for people anymore.
And the great thing about it, going back to that, come to me and learn from me that Jesus says. Yeah. We learn. We grow from one degree of glory to another. Where this is part of the discipleship process with Jesus is that over time, I remember the very first time the Father asked me to say something that felt like was from him to other people. I was so scared. I think I told this story. I was so scared that I couldn't verbalize it. I had to text it.
Right.
I just texted it to him and walked up to him and I said, okay, I think this is from the Lord. I've been trying to hear God's voice. I think this is from the Lord. I'm going to text it to you. And then I ran off and hit send and ran off because I was so scared. Well, that just shows you, yes, I was scared. I was nervous. Yep. And then the next time, guess what? I was scared and I was nervous. And then the third time, guess what? I was scared and I was nervous. But over time, you never sort of get rid of that scared thing. Sure. But over time, you begin to go, I'm starting to trust you. I've seen the amazing things. I've seen saying something to a family member and watching their life completely shift because I was willing to experience the gap and say something that I wasn't really sure, but the Father began to move. And now I got individuals whose lives have been changed because the Father asked me to step into something that made me nervous, and I followed him.
Right.
And over the years, you do that enough. It's just like training a muscle. It's just like you talked about being in a batter's box. You actually learn the muscle movement. There's muscle memory that starts to hit you where you're like, oh, I recognize this. You never get the nerves away.
Right.
Because what I have found, just like the parable of the talents, you start to walk in the things of the Spirit in very small ways, and then all of a sudden the Lord will start to ask you to do bigger things. But relatively speaking, because you've been training, this is not that big a deal.
Right.
Whereas if I knew day one what the Father is asking me to do right now as I'm pastoring this church and leading this church, I would go, there's no way. But that's 20 years or whatever, how many years of training with the Lord, of walking with the Lord, so that now, again, I'm developing skills and the ability to partner with the Lord.
Yeah, and when I think about that, for me, when I think about how that probably what we call it trajectory of let's say moving with him, it's funny because what I think has given me more confidence as I go forward is his faithfulness.
Yeah, dude.
Because it's like I know that, like, even as I'm praying that prayer going over, I'm like, but I know you're going to show up because you always do. So it's his faithfulness, and the more you keep seeing it, the more you just keep going. Okay, I'm going to go do this. So when Rusty Gevert, another friend of ours, says, "Hey, come and do prayer communion with us," and I'm free that night, I'm like, I'm in. Guess what? I'm driving over going. Okay, Lord, I know I'm not doing this in the flesh. I don't know a single person I'm going to be praying for, but you got something for him. And sure enough, I think I joked about this the other day. I think I was with you, whatever, but I joked about this. But we, when I was in a small group, we used to train up a bunch of new believers, non-believers, whatever. And it was one of Wimber's books, Wimber and Springer. It was one of their books on. We would always use it in our small groups. And it was just super 101 for the most part, Christianity, Well, I mean, not if you don't do supernatural things, but, for some it might be advanced. But anyway, I want to say the 5th chapter was on, it was called The Way to Maturity. The 5th chapter, I think, was on healing. And I'm telling you, every single time we taught that chapter, somebody significantly got healed in our small group.
Wow, dude.
Now, you could say, you could go, well, why don't you just do prayer for healing every day? Well, we do. I mean, if somebody, comes in, we're praying for it. But there was something on that where we're all learning about this together, and the Lord wanted to always put an exclamation on it. And we started to laugh about it because we had done this Way to Maturity. Oh gosh, I don't know. We'd probably taught it 20 times, whatever, and as we multiply groups and stuff like that. Me and Julie, chapter 5 this week, eat a ball. Yeah. We had a lady who had Christy, you know her.
Yeah.
She had a super bad migraine, like just stuffed head, that type of thing. We began praying for her. Literally, her nose starts to drain as we were praying for her. The headache immediately goes away. So moving toward a migraine. So not one of those, I have a little, I mean, you can see she looks bad coming in, we teach on stuff and go, well, let's just see what the Lord's going to do. Does anybody want, well, her, she's like, guys, this is moving into migraine. I've had a cold or whatever it was, and man, it just, it begins to drain and it's just immediate. I remember another one where we're praying with a teenage guy and he's pretty sure he's got maybe a strep throat or something like that. And he has
like the lymph nodes that are all
swollen. And I actually put my hand onto his neck like I'm choking him. And I can feel really swollen. And he's not looking good. And he's feeling real bad. Same thing was that 5th week. So I'm praying with him. For whatever theology you want to deal with it, whatever. He falls down. He's just almost like he flails down to the ground. And I'm not pushing him. He flails down to the ground. And so I just kind of, out of my hand, so I go back down while he's on the ground. If he walked in with a cop, he'd be like joking. He'd be like tasing me, thinking, what's he choking this guy? So I'm praying over, and I can feel the nodes going small underneath my hands. And he kind of is laughing, just enjoying some time in the spirit. He gets up, no sore throat, no redness, completely. He would do that kind of thing because he wanted us to see physical. There's not. Of course, if I have a bad back, I want you to pray for me and I want to get healed, right? But you can't see that. You can't know that. But it seemed like every time it'd be something like that. I want to say too. I feel like it was Christy again, but it maybe another gal in one of our groups, and I think hers was an ankle, and she had twisted it pretty badly. Like I think she was in a boot or something. We're like, okay, let's take it off. Started to pray, and same thing was like. You could see the swelling go down. You saw her toes go. You know how your toes are real big and your foot's real big? Everything just... And I think he loved to do that because he's like, I want you to see how this really works. But I'm telling you, what gives you the confidence is you're like, he'll show up.
Right.
And he promises that he'll show up. I'm not name it, claim it. We're not... Every person I pray for cancer isn't going to be healed. Every person... But I notice the more people I pray for, the more healing I get to experience. The more people I challenge, that I say, hey, let me just pray for you and see if God's got a word for you. The more I do it, the more I experience God talking to me about that.
Well, and just to bolster what Raz is saying, just from a biblical level, we started this thing with Moses. Again, Moses is asked by the Father to do something impossible. He's like, I can't talk.
A whole nation.
Yeah. He's like, who am I? What am I going to do?
Yeah.
And again, the Father, his comment to Moses, his solution to Moses is not get more degrees, get more experience, toughen up, suck it up, buttercup. No. The solution is, I'll be with you. I'll be with you. Apparently, all that we need to do the things that the Father has asked us to do is him.
Right.
I'll be with you.
Right.
And here's the deal. Before some of you are like, wow, that's Moses. Okay. Jesus said, all authority in heaven and on earth. All authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. Therefore, go and make disciples of all nations. Who's going to make disciples? Who can make disciples of all nations? Again, it's another Exodus.
Setting all nations free? Is that what you're saying?
It's another Exodus. Exactly. We're all Moses. I just want you to hear this. Exactly. We're all Moses. And we all can look at Jesus and go, what are you talking about? Making disciples of all nations. Yeah. And he goes, and lo, I am with you always. Even to the end of the age. I'm with you.
Isn't that awesome?
I just want you to see, you actually have everything that you need to accomplish what the Father wants to do in your life, because he said, I will never leave you nor forsake you.
Right.
If you come into the kingdom, if you said, Jesus, I come. I'm yours. My loyalty is to you, Jesus. I want to follow you. I want to give you my life. You have the Spirit of God. He is with you right now. You have all that you need.
Right.
So I just want to encourage you.
Right.
This is Moses, Abraham, Elijah, David. We go through all these characters like, oh, well, they had the Spirit of God on them. Exactly. This is the point. New Testament believers, we have the habitational Spirit, not the Spirit. In the Old Testament, the Spirit would come on people and then leave and go away and go to another person. In the New Testament, we get the Spirit of God forever as a down payment for eternity. You have what you need. So all that Raz is saying here, I just want to encourage you. This is a New Testament truth. It's not some charismatic thing.
Yep.
We are called to do impossible things and to bear fruit that glorifies the Father, which sounds like the kind of fruit that when someone sees it goes, oh, that joker couldn't pull that off. Yeah. Oh, there must be, God is with him. So you have what you need. Jesus has promised to never leave you nor forsake you. You have him. He said, don't worry about it. I'll be with you. I love that so much.
Who's faithful here again? He's the faithful one.
I'll be with you.
I'll be with you.
He's so casual about it because he knows the end from the beginning. Moses is nervous. I'll be fine. I'll be with you.
Yeah. I'm going to set my people free. This is going to happen. So now what's cool, and this has been the fun part of doing this Bible journey together, and you could probably talk about this all day, but in this section here, we just said it, and I want to point it out again to our listeners one more time. Say it one more time. What's he calling Moses to? He's saying, I'm going to have you, I've heard the cry of my people. I'm going to have them be set free, right? And the very line is, don't worry, I'll be with you, right? I can't do it. How would I do this? How's he going to set people free? Right. In the New Testament, what you just said, we are, as you said, we're all Moses. I just want people to really hear that again. There's a people in captivity. Yeah, that's right. That'd be anyone, because we know that, because Paul says you're captive to sin.
Yep.
Sin is the Egypt. And you can't get out of it. Right. You who are wrapped up in porn, you cannot get out of it on your own. That's right. You are cheating on your spouse. You are lying. You're caught up in homosexuality. You who cheat on everything that you cheat on, you're stuck in it.
Egypt is inside of you.
Exactly.
It has trapped you.
Exactly.
This is what sin does.
And Jesus had to really work at that to teach his disciples that. See, we always see that externally. He's going, no, I've come to set, they think he's coming to set them free from a geopolitical situation. He's coming to set them free just like the Israelites were in bondage. And then what's the promise in order for those he's telling to go do it? He is telling someone else to go do it with him. Whoever. Anybody who wants to go do it gets to join this adventure. And what's the promise? Oh, don't worry. I'll be with you.
I'll be with you.
But I'm not a good evangelist. I'm not good at sharing the gospel. That's all right. I'll be with you. I'm not good at arguing. What if I talk to a professor at Chicago University and he's a philosophy professor and that's okay. I'll be with you. Because remember that happens. I think you talked about it in our last one, but I want to talk about it one more time really quickly, is that the disciples were basically out arguing all these lawyers, essentially, right? All the brilliant people. And they themselves recognize they are kicking our butts in this legal discussion. How can they do this? Because why? They're like me. They're not. They don't have any.
Well, Jesus makes a promise. Hey,
Jesus is with them.
Jesus says, "Hey, don't worry when they bring you up to the Sanhedrin and they start asking you questions. Don't worry about it. You don't even." He actually says, so strange. Don't even think about what you're going to say. Yeah, the Holy Spirit will give you the words. Yeah, I just love the casualness of this. I'm just like, oh, you'll be fine. I'm with you.
Because that's his with us now is the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit. And we always have him because we're always filled with him. So this with him idea wasn't Jamie and Mike and Raz. It's his idea. Yeah. It's his idea. Why? Because he loves his kids. Yeah. He wants to be he has what he wants to accomplish. Yeah. He wants to set these people free. Yep. Me included. Oh my gosh. And then when you get set free, then you get to become one who keeps being a freedom bringer to others. Right. And oh my goodness. In fact, I think I got that word yesterday in worship, I think. If I remember, I remember hearing that Jesus, that he's our freedom bringer. He brings. Yeah. That's right. That's right. And he's using us. So when we say him, we're talking about us as well, because we're the ones doing it with him. We're staying with him.
It's mind-boggling because Jesus is the Savior, and then he partners with us in his saving work of sharing the gospel, of proclaiming good news, that freedom is available to you in Jesus. I mean, it's mind-boggling.
Right. And you know what's funny? If we stop being religious about it and just do it the way Jesus did, I have not experienced very often, just like at Dave Rankin's work we were just talking about. Again, I don't know where all these people were on their journey with God. I think many of them aren't necessarily where we're at, but people will receive the love of the Father because who doesn't want to be loved, and who doesn't want to be loved by the one who's created us? This is actually what our heart's desire is. Even if I'm in this bondage to sin that I've just talked about, I'm enslaved to this Pharaoh sin in me, this Egyptian sin in me. But deep down, I want to be set free. Deep down, I want to know who's created me. I want to know what I'm made for. And you and I have experienced this together a number of times, like when we've prayed for a waitress, or when we're at some event and we're just pray for someone, whatever. And again, most of the time they might not even be a follower of Jesus. Right. But what's so funny is the responses. Sometimes they'll get weepy. I remember you and I and Spencer, another of our fun worship leaders we've had on here a couple of times. we were at over here in Newtown by us at a restaurant. Remember that? We were with
Main
this
Street.
girl,
Yeah.
Main Street Cafe, and she was so responsive to us. Like next time we came in and everything, because she remembered. Because she had been blessed, and this is,
and she wanted a good tip. It's fine.
She wanted okay.
I'm just kidding.
No, you're right. It's so funny because it's so funny because, and that's the part again that makes it easy and fun because it's like, oh my gosh, I didn't have to get a psychology degree to help this person get set free. I could just tell them what the Father thinks about them.
So I got an idea for something super practical.
All right,
and this is gonna full circle this whole thing.
All right.
We're
gonna burn bushes.
It's associated with the bush. This is fun. I love when the Father just gives clarity.
All right.
Okay.
Let's go.
So going back to the how this whole thing started, Moses is just doing his job. He's done that job for 40 straight years. Yeah. Every day.
Sheep herder or something?
Sheep herder. He's herding his sheep, herding father-in-law's sheep.
Yep.
For 40 straight years.
Business. Yep.
And this one day, he sees a burning bush. And it's so provocative to me. He sees the bush, and he looks, and he goes, I'm going to go look at that thing. I'm going to go, how is that bush not burning? How is it not being consumed?
Right.
And the scriptures say, when God saw that he turned to see, God spoke. So here is, I want to encourage you to ask Jesus. Okay. So after you're listening, when this podcast is over, I want you to ask Jesus, or if you want to ask the Father, great. I ask the Spirit, fine. It's triune God, 3 in 1. Ask one of them, would you grab my attention today? Mm-hmm. Grab my attention. Mm-hmm. It might be a person. This is how it works for me. A lot of times I'll see a person, and it's like for some reason, I'm drawn to them. Mm-hmm. It's not romantic. It's not because they're attractive. Something happens where I look at them and I'm like, what? Mm-hmm. It's almost like something weird is happening, and I can't stop looking at them. And in those moments, I think that's burning bush stuff. Mm-hmm. And many times I've gone, I don't have time for this. And then I go off, and I'm just like Moses for 40 years, every day for 40 years.
Right.
But those moments where my attention is caught by something, and I go, what's that? Mm-hmm. And then here's the question. Father, what do you want to say to me about this thing? This thing that caught my attention. What do you want to say to me about it? Mm-hmm. I want to bless you to ask this question. You start asking that question when your attention gets grabbed by something or a thought enters your brain. You're like, what? Why am I thinking about that, Father? Jesus, why am I thinking about this thought? What would you like to say about this random thought that is so weird to me? It's so out of the ordinary. It's almost like a bush that's on fire, but it's not being consumed. Anytime your attention gets grabbed, ask the Father, what do you want to do about that? And just watch what happens. And if you listen, it's very likely he will ask you to say something or do something that's going to feel super nervous. You're going to get nervous about it. I'm telling you right now, Kingdom Adventure is on the backside of that nervousness. I'm telling you. Kingdom Adventure is on the backside of your nervousness when you notice something and you ask the Father to speak to you about it. I've experienced this so many times. You've said it. I've said it. We've experienced this so much now that I'm kind of like, yeah, this is going to be great. Mm-hmm. This is going to be great.
I like the practical thing you hit of like something that, grabbing your attention like a person like that, but also just a thought. See, because if you're not thinking about like a subject or something, and then all of a sudden, a person out of nowhere it comes. I can tell you almost 100% of the time, that's the Lord. I'm going to just real quickly just share a couple real quick stories about that. Is every time I think of a good friend or family member or whatever that just pops out of the blue, I always will immediately text them and go, hey, Sally, how you doing? Are things going okay for you guys? And I'm telling you, 99.9%, they go, why are you asking?
Right.
I'm like, there's things, what's going on? And I end up praying for them. I end up telling them. Now, sometimes the Lord will actually give you just a solid word for somebody, just like we've talked about. But many times it's just, that's it. He's drawing my attention, like, give that person a text. Man,
absolutely.
a good friend of mine, that happened, and it turned out he was like leaving his wife.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Another friend, his wife was divorcing him.
Yep.
And, like I didn't know it. They were just kind of in the middle of it, Another friend, his business was tanking because of some legal issues. And this is a person who, like, anytime I would talk about them, I'm like, oh, this person's always successful, whatever. And there was some legal thing that was happening. It was kind of around COVID, and some legal things were happening. I'm like, oh my gosh. And they're like, I'm telling you, I don't have any money. We're talking about a millionaire. Like, I don't have any money. I'm like, wow. Okay, but so right, because why is God showing you Sally from Colorado, your second cousin, who you're not thinking of anything about?
Right.
Pay attention.
Right.
No, I love that. That's so practical. So it could be visual, but it could be in your mind as well.
And you're just thinking,
just do it.
What's something that's striking my attention, like a burning bush, but it's not being consumed? It's like, what is that? That's weird.
Yeah.
Anything that's weird. Yeah, I lean in on it.
Agreed.
if a weird thought enters my brain,
I agree.
And assuming it's not like anti-biblical or some awful, horrific thing, I'm probably going to lean in on it.
Yep.
Father, what is this thought that I'm having?
Right.
So I just trying to be as super practical as possible.
Yeah.
And I love being. I'm aggressive when it comes to kingdom stuff like this.
Yeah.
Ask the Father.
Yeah.
Ask him. Would you give me some sort of burning bush situation? Would you grab my attention today?
Yeah.
Today. I'm telling you, some of you are going to experience kingdom adventure. As soon as this
podcast, you're going to love that.
As soon as this podcast is over, you're about to walk into one of the best.
Right.
It's going to be a story that you will be telling your kids and your grandkids for the next 30 years. I'm telling you.
Yep.
Ask the Father, pay attention, and then if something grabs your attention, thought enters your brain, someone grabs your attention, ask the Father, what do you want to say to me about this? Right. What do you want to do?
Right.
Let's go on an adventure together.
Right.
That's so awesome.
It's his idea. So, yeah. Well, Lord, I'm asking for that right now. For me, I'm going to say, Lord, what do you got for me today? How do you want to grab my attention today? And I want to press into that. Lord, I want to be faithful to press into it because you are faithful. It's not about me. Yeah. I always know that you show up, and I thank you for that. And you have such a beautiful, loving heart as a father for so many, and you let us participate in that. So I pray, God, right now for my listeners, they will enter into that adventure. Father, they'll find that gap, that zone where their skill is, but then where they meet with you, and where that is. And Father, I pray for some awesome and exciting stories that even come out of this podcast of how you use people for your glory, how you use them to set people free from Egyptian sin in their hearts. So we thank you for that. And even as we pray that, we pray in faith, God, that you're going to be faithful and do that. And so, Lord, would you, for me and Jamie, would you just keep using us for your kingdom? We keep saying yes to you. Help us to keep leaning. I liked Jamie's term. Listen to that, listener. Lean in, lean in, lean in. So I'm praying for the lean today for our listeners and for our viewers. And so we love you, Lord. We thank you that we get to do this life with you and in the life to come. Jesus says, I am the way, truth, and life. And no one comes to the Father except through me. And then he says about himself, he says that that when we will lean into him, that he will be with us always, just like he had said to Moses, don't worry, I'm going to be right there with you. That's what's going to make this work. And that's what's going to make it work for you too. Yeah. So, hey, I'm Raz, Jamie. We're so blessed to get to do this.
Email us the stories.
So good. We want to see
email us the stories of what happened.
I'm feeling that. So email us, subscribe, send this on to your friends. Don't just see us in the marketplace somewhere and go, hey, I love your podcast. So, no, do that. We do love that too, just because it's really fun to talk about with you guys. But anyway, we love you guys. We're so thankful for you, especially thankful for our boy Mikey B.
Yeah, Mike.
Always taking care of us, so this would not be happening. And so anyway, we love you guys. Thanks. Till next time.
Peace. Bye.